We're live on the air, Miss Stillwell. Please report to the microphone. Christmas is coming too, Miss Stillwell. Don't feel pressure. We're live here, so be careful what you're saying. Minutes or seconds? Please, go for it. Thank you. That's your makeup. Wow. Welcome, everybody, to All Things Brunswick 2.0. It's Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, so we must be on the air again. This is Bill Moore.
Mary Stillwell.
And Dan Roman.
Welcome you to our show. We got another great show planned for you. Obviously, if you're watching us by live stream, you know we're already here. However, you can watch this, play it again over and over again during the week by coming to the 106.7 Live stream show, and we played multiple times during the week. In addition, we are on All Things Brunswick on YouTube, so you can find us and all our old shows there, so you can do the wonders that we have done. Correct, guys?
And don't forget to remind them to like and share those so that other people can see them as well.
Yes. Please like and share those so people, Dan has to get wherever friends he can find, wherever he can get them online or whatever else. So he needs as many likes and shares as he can get.
Tonight. All right.
Anyway, with all seriousness, which is gone, Mary, would you introduce our guest?
I would be happy to. Thank you. Our first guest this evening is somebody very dear to me. When I was president of the Brunswick County Republican Women, she was my vice president. And I knew at that time that she would make an excellent president. So, therefore, now she is. So we welcome Janet Nutley, president of the BCRW. Thank you.
Welcome to our show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
But we also have to give her credit for being the sponsor for TARs.
Absolutely.
And I believe she's also at the state level, was it?
I received a state level award for Advisor of the Year for last year.
Yes.
See, so that
Congratulations.
she's not just a TARS person, she's very special. She's the #1 TARS voter in the entire person in the entire country. Not even for probation. This is final. It's good.
Janet, can you tell us a little bit about the Brunswick County Republican Women and some of the projects that you have going on?
Okay, one of the things that we've been actually in existence for about 25 years.
Sure.
I know.
Turn the switch on
There's a
again.
little bottom on the switch there.
It is. Was battery low?
It may be.
Uh-oh.
We will, I'll
Hold
lend
on.
you mine and we'll
I
get it
can fix
fixed.
this quick. Hold on. We'll switch. You go.
Just in case the battery was low.
There, perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, we can go ahead and get.
Go
finish
for
what
it.
we
Yeah.
were doing. But we've been in existence about 25 years, chartered for that long, had a lot of great presidents that came before me. And some of the things that we've got going on now, we have Thursday night, we have an upcoming candidate forum. We have over 20 confirmed state and local candidates that will be discussing why we should vote for them. The early voting started, and it will go through May 14th, and then the primary, of course, will be the 17th. So this is kind of a really important time. If you haven't made your decision on who you're going to vote for yet, this will be a great time to come out on Thursday night. It's going to start at 6:30. It will be in place of our regular meeting. It will be right here at the GOP headquarters.
Great, great. And that is open to the public, right, Janet?
Yes, it'll be open to the public, and we have plenty of room. Just bring your friends, come out, have questions. There will be a kind of a meet and greet, I guess. If you have a particular question for a candidate, you can talk to them before or afterwards.
Great.
So I assume because the number of candidates you have, you're going to start at 6:30 promptly. So if people want to get here a little earlier to talk to candidates, that'd be a better suggestion.
That's exactly right. We will open the meeting and then table everything till the next meeting so we can have the full time for the candidates.
So,
Great.
again, if you're interested in finding out who the right people are to vote for in the Republican ballot, this is the place to be Thursday night. These ladies have put a lot of work in that. They've gathered. If you got over 20 candidates coming, you got the bulk of everybody coming.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody, mostly everybody local and statewide. Some statewide candidates also.
That was-
Perfect.
So again, it's a chance to hear everybody doing their thing. What else is on the agenda for the Ladies Club?
Right now, we are working on scholarships. We give out a scholarship, $1,000 scholarships every year to one deserving senior. She does have to be a young lady because we are Republican women, but they will write an essay. And currently, thank you, Mary, you are in charge of that for our committee.
You're welcome.
But we've got 7 candidates this year, which was fantastic. On June the 4th, we will have a luncheon and present that scholarship. Well, actually, whichever, it'll actually be presented at one of the local high schools award banquets, but we will be honoring that candidate on the June 4th at a luncheon in their honor, where they will read the essay.
And what were the qualifications to be considered?
Basically, any high school senior can be homeschooled, private school, any local Brunswick County resident is really what has to be done. And then the board, there's 3, I think you currently have 3 people on the board plus Mary. They will be interviewed, every one of them will be interviewed, and it will be determined by that board who wins.
We have very limited criteria. We ask them to write an essay now on what this scholarship would mean to them. And, of course, their grades matter. We like to look at the fact that they are very active in their community, what they do for their community. So it's a great opportunity for some young lady to receive this.
Yeah, thank you. And like I said, we'll be announcing that soon. Some other things that we have done in the past, Susan Tillis Foundation has a baby bundle celebration, and we usually have a party of some sort, a baby shower, and contribute to that every year. She comes down, and you have to be a E5 or below in the military, and when you have a child, you'll be going home with a gift basket from Susan Tillis Foundation. So that's one of the things we've done. It's under Americanism. We have different committees that are involved in our club. Actually, when Hurricane Florence was here, we won the national award for the Americanism, not just a state award, but it was a national award for the hours that we helped unloading at the airport, different things that was done in Hurricane Florence by all the members of the club. I think it was over 3,200 hours just for that one award. Another one of our committees is literacy. And in our literacy committee, we actually will go and donate books to schools. We've donated dictionaries to even homeschool organizations. We go to different libraries and donate books. So those are some of the things that we've done. You want-
It sounds like a very, very active group.
We are actually coming up to, in July 4th, another upcoming event that we're excited about is the July 4th parade, you know, it being the state actual July 4th parade. And we are going to have a float this year for women's suffrage in that parade. And fortunately, we're going to have Miss Senior America on that float with us. So it'll be exciting to have her there representing what women can do. And then, so that's something, giving the women the right to vote. Also, we are going to be helping with the celebration of freedom on July 9th here. And I think we're going to have a band there. We've got a band there. We're just going to have hot dogs and have all the candidates and everything here and just enjoy in celebration there.
And we have
Great.
the sheriff's color guard.
The what?
Sheriff's color guard.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would
Oh.
talk into the mic.
oh. Bill no longer has a mic.
We have. Neither does he.
Oh, my. Wow. I don't know if it's batteries or not. I can talk. I'm the only one that can talk. Janet, tell the ladies in our audience what they can do to become a Republican woman.
Basically, we would love to have you join our club. You just come out and you do have to fill out an application. Make sure that you're a registered Republican, and we would love to have you get involved. Different things going into the election year, you know, obviously we always try to support all the candidates that we have. And so whether it be working the polls or whatever, we will be here supporting you throughout the year.
Great. Now, we have the reputation, I believe, nationwide of being the worker bees. I think that if you talk to each and every GPO in various counties and states, I think they would agree that the Republican women are the backbone of the party. I know we're the life of the party.
And the heart of the party.
And the heart.
So, yes, the more that we have involved is great. We currently have probably about 60-some members and plenty of associate members. You can be an associate member if you're a male. We would love to have you as an associate member, but you have to be a woman to be an actual full-fledged member. And you can be a high school member also.
That's great.
I was going to ask that. Is there any age to the requirements on that?
No, if we do have one high school associate member, but they are associate members, you know, but you do have to be a registered Republican to be a full-fledged member, so which means you have to be 18. But other than that, you can be an associate member.
I would suspect all you have to do is show up to join and fill out a form. It's not that difficult to become a member.
It's not that difficult
To become a member.
Oh, no, yes. Yes, not that difficult to become a member.
So they are looking for some good people to join them. If you're out there and you want to get involved, this is an excellent organization. They're constantly doing things for the betterment of the community and the party. So, Janet, you'd be commended for what your group is doing and your leadership. So we thank you for all that good stuff.
You can find more information at BrunswickCountyRepublican.org.
Okay.
One other thing, if you'd like to just share with the folks the different committees that are in the organization, if they want to come on board, not just to be a Republican woman, but the organization has several committees that are in need of help, and you make a difference joining that committee or working with someone who has joined.
It is important to join, once you join, to get involved, because we do have a lot of members that we appreciate you joining and we want you to join, but you have so much more fun if you get involved and really make a difference there. But we have our legislative committee, we have a fundraising committee, we have a hospitality committee, we have, again, the scholarship and the literacy and the Americanism committees. So we even have a social media committee, and there is usually one chairperson for each committee, but the chairperson can't do it all. So that's why it's so important for other people to get involved and to really start participating. And you meet a lot of great friends.
Great. Thank you.
I'm good, no.
Well, we have one standard question that I always ask.
Waiting.
Oh, yes.
What can you tell us about yourself that nobody knows?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, she knew this was coming. Look at the look on her face.
But it's just an easy one. Some people may know this, obviously, but I come up with slogans sometimes. So one of my oldest slogan was, or is, have bags, we'll travel. I just always like to travel. I'm always ready to go on a trip. So if you know me, you already know that, but if you don't,
Where is your
Have
favorite
bags
place
will
you've
travel.
traveled to?
It's hard because
Tough question.
it is.
I thought it was Republican headquarters. I thought, no.
I would say an interesting point is prior to marrying my husband, I'd traveled more outside of the United States than inside, so that's kind of nice. When I met him, we've gone all over the United States several times, out to California, like 6-week trips and stuff, so it's been great. But I have traveled overseas extensively, and I've lived in Germany for a short time and really loved just going everywhere there. I went over to Prague and, France, all of them. But the one place I haven't gone, I will say that I want to go, is England. So
It is beautiful.
it's a kind of different spin on what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it's
but
fine. That's
It's
great.
one place I want to go.
Let me follow up on that with another question. If we could provide the ability for you to move your family and yourself anywhere in the world for the rest of your life, where would that be?
It actually still would probably be right here in Brunswick County.
There you go.
But
I
now if you
told you she loves this headquarters.
If you want to provide me a place to go, provide me to go to England. I'll be happy to travel. I have my bags, we'll travel.
And she's ready to go, okay.
All right.
And maybe we need a different scholarship committee to work.
There you go.
Now, Dan, I do have to tell you, unfortunately, they're not accepting people who identify as women, so you're not going to be able to do this. You get to be an associate at best.
Wow.
Any male may become a Republican woman
Well, let me ask this for a
as
legit
an
question.
associate.
Do they have a
So-
men's
Associate
counterpart?
only.
For real? Do they have a men's counterpart?
There is a men's group, but not in Brunswick.
Okay, I was just
Yeah,
curious.
There's a men's
Right.
group that works statewide. We've been trying to get one organized in the county, but it hasn't happened yet.
You may become a part of this organization if you are a man. As an associate, you are allowed to attend the meetings, attend the activities. The only thing that you cannot do is vote.
So it's,
So we can count on you to join.
Well, I won't think about it. No,
Thank you.
actually, I am now identifying as a clump of cells, Bill, just so you know.
I believe the clump, but we'll leave that alone.
Which legitimately I am, so.
I'm being so good right now.
We're
Anyway,
always good.
I want to thank you for coming on with us
Oh,
right now, and I think
yes.
maybe a time that we can take a little break right now and pay a few bills, and then we'll come back with another portion. Thank you. So just
Thank
hang
you,
on till we
Janet.
get
Thank
into our
you.
commercials.
Thank you.
My name is Brian Wilson. I'm running for District Court Judge. During my lifetime, I've gone from protecting your God-given and constitutional freedoms as a combat vet of the U.S. military to working locally as a carpenter building homes while I worked my way through college. For the past 17 years, I've been protecting and defending your constitutional rights in the courtroom. I'm currently protecting our rights of our most vulnerable, our children, as the guardian ad litem attorney advocate for the children of Brunswick, Columbus, and Bladen County. I've spent my career serving our country, our state, and our communities, so I ask that you continue your confidence by voting for me, Brian Wilson, in the primary elections on May 17th. Thank you.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
We need judges who serve we the people, not self-interested career politicians. This is Jenny Statting, wife of Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Michael is a former prosecutor, sitting Republican judge, and a reservist in the United States Air Force. Michael is a lifelong public servant. That is why I'm asking you to remember to vote for Judge Michael Stadding, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals, paid for by the committee to elect Michael Stadding. Michael Stadding is a reservist for the United States Air Force. Use of job title does not imply endorsement by the Department of Air Force or the Department of Defense.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
I'm Trey Allen, conservative candidate for the North Carolina Supreme Court. As a Marine Corps veteran, practicing attorney, professor of law, and father of 5, I want to pass on the precious freedoms that we inherited to the next generation. For that to happen, we need judges who will faithfully apply our Constitution and our laws, not rewrite them to achieve specific outcomes. If you share my commitment to liberty, please vote Trey Allen in 2022. Paid for by Trey Allen for Justice.
The clerk of court makes legal decisions that affect the lives of Brunswick County citizens daily. The current clerk of court, who is an attorney, has demonstrated this for many years. Katie Maiden has practiced law for over 10 years. To ensure that this quality of service continues, vote Katie Maiden for clerk of courts, paid for by the committee to elect Katie Maiden.
And welcome back to part 2 of All Things Brunswick. And it's a Tuesday night, and we've had a dynamite show so far. And we have an even bigger surprise for you. We have 4 young people over here who are going to dazzle you with their brilliance. And I'll, again, let Mary introduce them.
And it is my pleasure to introduce the Brunswick County TARs who have joined us this evening. We have the president, Isaac Souls.
Hello.
Elizabeth Nutley, who is the treasurer.
Hello, thank you for having us.
She is also the treasurer of the state TARs. Congratulations, Elizabeth. We have Maggie Stone, who is the secretary.
Hey, guys.
And we have the member, Vincent Russo. Thank you all for coming.
Glad to be back. First question, what's a TAR?
So, essentially, a TAR is a Teenage Republican. That's what our club stands for. So anyone who resides in Brunswick County who is in high school, sorry about that, you can become a TAR. All you got to do is reach out to one of us by email or Instagram. bctarsprez@gmail.com is my email. Or just show up to one of our meetings. Our meetings are usually Thursday nights, the third Thursday, but that does change sometimes. But yeah, so essentially a TAR is a Teenage Republican like ourselves.
All right, so what does a TAR do?
A TAR supports Republican candidates and makes sure, specifically for North Carolina TARs, that North Carolina stays red. And specifically for Brunswick County TARs, that Brunswick County stays red.
Great.
Go ahead. You're up.
Okay, so can you tell me some of the activities that you have, some of the goals that the Brunswick County TARs are striving to do?
I can do the activities. I know that as long as I've been here, which hasn't really been that long, but still, we've been bowling, which was the first big activity where we could get a lot of people together and just have fun with that. And then we've, had meetings, and then I think we're planning to go to the aquarium soon, right?
Yes, so one of our upcoming meetings / events is we are going to take a trip to the Fort Fisher Aquarium June 9th. So if any teenager or adult, is interested in coming, you can just meet us right here at the Republican headquarters at 9:30. It's going to be a fun day. We're going to have an adventure, and we're going to mingle and share experiences, peoples with the same values as us.
What's the date of that, Isaac?
Oh, June 9th. Yep. And you could also meet at the ferry as well if you'd like. Just let one of the members know.
Okay, thank you. Now, it is my understanding that Maggie has only been with your group a short time, and she's the secretary. Is that correct, Maggie?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what you like best about TARS?
I just love the fellowship that we have. I mean, we're all like a big family anyway, and it's great to have people with the same views that are teenagers.
Absolutely. And Vincent, he is also a new member. Is that correct?
I'm going to be completely candid. I didn't even know I was counted to a member to this day, so what does that tell you?
Can't get
But-
much newer than that.
Yeah. Just kind of showed up and kept volunteering, made friends, and, well, now I'm here.
And that's wonderful. So do you feel that as well?
Yeah, I feel like it's great having people that I'm not actually scared to talk about politics with that are actually my age. So, yeah, it feels pretty good.
That's great.
I love
I'm
that line.
glad. Me too.
How do you recruit additional members?
So one of the main things we try to do to recruit members is hold these events. We want to hold fairly fun events so that we can get teenagers here to essentially join our club. Not only do we hold events, but we also volunteer here at the GOP. And so teenagers come to events at the GOP as well. So with volunteering at the events at the local GOP headquarters, plus holding events of our own, that's one way we definitely ensure lots of membership. And we're definitely counting on more membership as we get into the election and voting season this year. So
I can attest to the fact that they do volunteer. Whenever I have asked them, they step right up. And I thank you all very much for that.
And there's no doubt about it that being a TARS is also a service issue. You guys are at everything we do. You're willing to pretty much take on any job we ask you to do. And they're not the most glamorous jobs that we have there, but you're there. You get
mean you don't
involved.
give them the good jobs, Bill?
Not my decision. I try to fight for them all the time. Hey, you take them, I'll take them. No, you take them. But
So
they
I-
do a great job for us at any event that we have.
So I have a question about how does it, you think doing this is going to prepare you for your future?
Well, I myself do hope to have a future career in politics. So this is not only a learning experience, not only a serving experience, but it's also preparation to enrich me in the field that I plan to go in.
Nice.
The answer.
How about the rest of you?
Yeah, so even if one doesn't have a special career path that's politically based, you still develop other social skills like public speaking, leadership positions, helping people when in need, which is one of the most important characteristics to have. So that's what, me and the rest of the TARs develop as we all go into our separate career paths.
Awesome.
Maggie, what's your thoughts on that? I'm not letting you get away.
Darn, I almost had it. So, I mean, Isaac was right. You don't really have to have a career, which is going into politics. It's just a great learning experience, honestly, and you get to. Some people are kind of blind to politics and don't really like to talk about it, and now you learn more every day, and you can actually talk about it more and do stuff with it.
Now, Meg, you're a little young. I think you're a sophomore, if my memory serves me correct.
Yes,
So
I am.
I know you're not ready to say this is what I'm going to do in the future. But have you got any plans, any possible political ambitions or not?
I don't think so. I think I'm leaning more to the teacher position right now.
No more honorable position.
Yes, very much so.
How about Vince?
Yeah, I was going to say, you get away with nothing, sir. It's your turn.
Darn, I thought I got away with it when I handed Maggie the mic.
Nope.
Well, I know for a fact as a senior, I'm not going into politics. I may sound very well spoken here, but I don't think I can hold that up for any primaries or elections. But I do think that TARS provides valuable networking. Like, nothing binds stronger than politics, and making friends that might go on to be important friends, or just making friends at all, is something very beneficial later in life, and it also gets you out working more, builds up your work ethic. Generally, there's nothing really bad that can come from the volunteering aspect as well.
That's great.
That's a great answer. Question for all of you, because I know in many of your high schools that there's not a whole lot of people that are A, Republicans, or B, even interested in politics at this point. But there are some. And how do you deal with someone who has an opposite political view of yours?
I think one of the bases of our club is mutual respect. Now,
Great answer.
we may not have the same views as them, but that doesn't mean they're any less of a human than we are. So we coexist in a sort of mutualistic society. You know, we get along with them, and we share our values when needed, but ultimately we coexist together and just to be civil. You know, sort of.
Anyone want to expound on that, or go get it, politician, go for it.
Yes, sir. Well, as you may know, and if not, you will know in 2 seconds, I, in 100% of my high school, is Republican, seeing how I am homeschooled.
Great answer, Elizabeth.
But
You are going to be a politician.
when I am going along with other teenagers my age who may not agree with me politically, I respect their opinion, as Isaac said, and as we should. But that would also make me want to fight harder for mine, because there are some opinions, especially on abortion, on the right to life, that are so critically important that we cannot just sit by and let them murder children. So while everyone in my high school, thank the Lord, is Republican, I definitely think it's important for TARS to stand up in public schools and in private schools, and I will stand up the best I can wherever I go.
Maggie, your turn.
Great.
Well, you never really know, like, whose opinion you can actually affect, like, who you can actually change, you know? So I always start my phrases whenever I'm talking about politics to anybody that's not really into this stuff. I always say, in my opinion, but you never know what that opinion might, you know, do to them. So.
Excellent point.
Great.
Vincent?
Yes.
I'm going to be straight up and honest here. I know like 3 conservative people at my school, one of whom Elizabeth also knows. Dang, did I go too hard on that? Anyway, so my school is fairly liberal, and I mainly know who's conservative by also knowing who's very much not. So in regards to how I handle political stuff, I really don't. More, it's just holding fast to my beliefs when it's questioned, because I'm not confrontational. I don't really like picking fights over something like that or starting up debates like that. But I do try and be respectful. I do try and be kind. And if it gets brought up and I'm not the one to start, yeah, I'll get into it. I will stand behind my beliefs. I will present things that I feel are strong arguments, and I will handle myself with decorum.
You know, one of the things I think is really important that you guys do is you can speak to your peers better than we can. I'm a boomer, Mary's a boomer, Bill is ancient. Nobody's going to listen to us in your age group, to be honest. So the work that you guys are doing can have tremendous effect moving down the road. So congrats to all of you for that.
Yes, absolutely. I would like to ask you all to talk a little bit about the vote. What are your feelings? How important is it to you? I know that none of you vote yet. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right, but I'm sure that you have plans to do so. So we'll start with Vince. Talk to me about the vote.
Well, since I'm personally illiterate as most of the candidates, I'm not going to lie about that. I am getting better. Every single event I go to, I build up more of a knowledge on the candidates, and I already have a few that I know I support. So, but yeah, I believe voting is vitally important because it's the main mode of actually communicating your beliefs in a actually meaningful way. Like, sure, you can beat your chest, you can do whatever to say, like, oh, hey, this is what I believe in. But nothing's going to change if you don't vote. We've seen that in elections past, especially the 2016 election. I'm looking at you, Bernie Bros. Anyway. So, yeah, voting is vitally important to both sharing your opinion and the democracy as a whole because it counts on all of us to have a say.
Thank you, Vincent. Maggie?
Well, all voting is having a say in, what you think should happen. So I always ask people, what do you want to have a say in what goes on in your country or what goes on in your county even? And if so, then you should definitely vote because you wouldn't have a say otherwise.
Elizabeth?
Well, since I feel like the topic of voting has already been covered, I want to talk about voting in the primary. I feel like a lot of times that is overlooked, and seeing how we are in the primary right now, I'd like to encourage everybody to vote in the primary, because if you don't vote in the primary, well, some of them aren't opposed, which is great. But if you don't vote in the primary, then you won't have the strongest Republican candidate to go against the Democrats. And just because they're all Republicans does not mean that every Republican has the best character and the best strength. And you need to vote in the primary so then when they will be going against the Democrat, you will feel secure in your candidate. And you will know that not only are you backing a Republican, not only are you backing a conservative, but you are backing a good, well-mannered, charactered person.
Very well said, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Isaac?
Yeah, so like Elizabeth said, the primary election is very looked over, especially, and any election, honestly, is looked over in the eyes of a freshly turned 18 teenager. And I think the main thing, a lot of teenagers, when they turn 18, they go into these elections and they're like, I don't know anything about anyone, what am I? But first you can establish yourself based on values if you are a Democrat or a Republican or independent. And hopefully if you believe that you are Republican but you don't know any of the candidates, what my advice to you is short and sweet, but to join TARs. Yes.
Awesome. So you, in essence, would help your peers understand the voting process and how to get to the point where they would vote for a person of their choice. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. And the majority of the candidates, the Republican candidates on the primary ballot, we have all met. We have seen through events here. We have seen through events hosted by us. So if you are a teenager and you've just turned 18 and you're like, I don't know what Republican candidate to vote for, the best thing to do is join Brunswick County Teenage Republicans or a Teenage Republicans group in your county because I know all of us, and Vincent's a prime example, we have all learned so much about these candidates and we are able to form our own opinions to who we think we should send out to battle the forefront against the Democrats in the general election.
Vince, you got it.
I had something to say, but Isaac pretty much summed it up. Yeah, most of my knowledge of the Republican primary candidates this cycle has actually come from literally just sitting right up there and doing sign-ins for all the people listening to speeches. So you will become more knowledgeable about your political landscape, even if it's just from secondary sources, not even actually listening to somebody speak actively. So yeah, I can personally attest to joining TARs will help you become more politically literate, because it's helped me.
I think when you start looking at numbers, you guys are not yet to vote or just going to vote shortly in some cases. What bothers me, and I think you're saying it rather well, people do not understand the fact that the political party does not pick candidates. It's up to the people voting. You decide who the candidates are. And if you don't vote, you've kind of given up that right to decide who's picking you. What bothers me right now, and I have some numbers from early voting for the first 3 days, which runs through Saturday. It doesn't get today's numbers in there or yesterday's numbers in it yet. We have approximately 121,000 voters in our county. Okay. After 3 days, we didn't get 1% of the membership voting. Now, hopefully that will get better in the next number of days we have going between now and the 17th. But think about that. If it stays on this trend and we end up with 5 or 10 or 20% of the people voting, 20% of the people are going to decide for 100% of the people who their candidates are. And that's just not a good idea, regardless who you support on either side. Republican or Democrat or unaffiliated, you really want to get involved and choose who your people are. Now, you don't always win, but if you're not in the game, you can't win.
Exactly.
And you've got to get there. What would you guys tell our adult voters about the fact they haven't voted yet, or they may not plan on voting in primary? Anybody or all? It's up to you guys.
To go vote. That's short but sweet answer. To go vote. Like Elizabeth said, the primary election is unfortunately looked over a lot, but you have the honor and the blessing to decide who will battle the Democrats in the general election in November. So go out, exercise your right to vote, vote on behalf of the TARs, vote on behalf of everyone who wants you to vote, because it's one of the most important things that we can do.
As a citizen, absolutely correct.
Yes, exactly.
Anybody else up there, or are you just letting him go and represent you? Just grab the mic, guys.
And I'm just here to back up Isaac and also say, there's no real reason not to vote. Don't have the time. Early voting's a thing. Don't feel safe. Well, we actually train poll watchers right here, and ma'am right over there is the woman in charge of that. So side plug, if you want to help with that, go see her. But y'all are laughing, but I mean that genuinely. Any
And I know that.
volunteering
We're
is-
just having fun with it.
Yeah, just having fun. But there's it's streamlined, and we make sure that everybody's vote is counted and everybody's vote is counted securely. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about, because I know that this political climate's a pretty hostile one. People might be scared to go and exercise their rights because the violence has stayed far away from Brunswick County as far as I know. I apologize if that immediately becomes invalidated by information I don't know. But as far as I know, it hasn't come here. But people might be scared, because I was scared for a while, that it might. But that shouldn't keep people from withholding their opinions, withholding their votes. We have safeguarded it as much as we can. The power's in your hands.
Well said.
Thank you, Vincent. That was great.
Ladies, you're going to let them stand, or you're going to get your 2 cents in on this? Going to flip a coin?
Nope.
We've said it all. No, I'm just along for the ride.
You're learning very well.
Well, definitely the right to vote is very important, and it is definitely a privilege. I, of course, would love to have the right to vote, but I'm not quite there yet, still 2 years away. I'll be glad to when I do. But it's not just voting, it's educated voting. It would be a sad day if you went in there and you chose somebody based on their name. You need to research your candidates and make sure that you have done your research and that you were choosing the best candidate, not just your favorite name.
Great advice.
But I got a
Elizabeth.
question taking you in a different direction completely.
Yes, sir.
Now it's going to see what you guys can answer this one. In New York City, God
Yes,
forbid
sir.
we'll all go there, but in New York City,
Mhm.
they actually have passed a ruling that lets high school kids at the age of 16 vote in local elections only, not for anybody above city council, whatever else. There are some people that criticize it, saying that you're not mature enough yet to do that, you're more emotion. What's your feelings on that? Right down the line. Anybody can start.
I saw everybody looked at me. I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm actually originally from Long Island, so if anybody's qualified to talk about how bad the political landscape is in New York City is, it's probably going to be me, since that's part of why I'm down here. Anyway,
I'm a Westchester boy, so be careful.
What? Did I accidentally peek the mic?
Said I'm from Westchester, be careful.
Okay, I'm gonna keep this but you probably agree with me that things have gone downhill fast. But this is actually a decision I kind of agree with a little. I mean, it remains to see how it applies in practice, but 16, example of a politically literate 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a matter of maturity, but a matter of education. But I also believe on the other side that there might be unpolitically educated. Well, not politically uneducated. Got the words right that time. 16-year-olds out there that might just be making choices off of popular stuff, but I also have to pose the question, are adults really above that?
You beat me to my next line. You're doing well there.
I'm sorry for taking the words out of your mouth.
You're doing well.
But
Anybody
Don't be
else?
sorry.
yeah, I feel ambivalent, really. I just want to see how it shakes out.
Okay. Anybody else up there?
That's an interesting question, and that's an interesting.
I thought so.
Yeah, nice question. I think the majority of teenagers like us today are deeply influenced by ideals that exist on social media. So with the idea of teenagers 16 and up being able to vote in the local elections, I think it, like Vincent said, it's time will tell. We'll see. But I hope and pray that the teenagers up there in New York are doing their proper research, and they're, like Elizabeth said, not just voting off of names, just to ensure that they're doing the best they can.
The lady with the 100% Republican group?
Yes, sir. So I might take a little different spin on this than Isaac did. I do know a very important war that was fought over no taxation without representation. So I would like to say, are those 16-year-olds paying taxes? And if they are, wouldn't that prove a point? But if they aren't, they can wait 2 more years, I would probably say. It would
Interesting
hurt
take.
me, but
Very interesting take.
that would make sense.
Maggie? Any comment, or are you just going to let the one go?
Well, I think Vincent had a good point about, are the adults really above the 16-year-olds at this point? But I think that if you're educated enough and if you know what you're doing, then you should be able to. But then there are other people who are influenced by other things that don't really know what they're doing and aren't educated. So it's really 50-50 for me.
And I understand that, and you guys are definitely not old enough. I know only Dan here is old enough to remember this, but way back when, it used to be 21 to vote, and then there was a battle to make it 18, and the answer was if you were 18 and old enough to go to war, you should be able to vote. So, I mean, there's something relative to everything you're talking about, but I think you guys have done a magnificent job today.
So I'm going to ask a question that Bill won't understand because it's about social media. So one of the issues that I've had with the Republican Party for the last 20 years, unfortunately, is they've gotten schooled by the opposite side on social media, and schooled is being very kind. And I think that one of the things that they struggle with is, and I'm going to try and put it politely, the older mentality that social media really doesn't have that much of an effect. What do you guys think about that? And if you had the ability to go to the party and say, what would you say?
Yes. Like I was saying earlier, social media has a deep influence with kids today and the parties. I believe we're not seeing as much Republican coverage on social media. It's because we maybe simply are just not sort of scared, but the people on the other side, are quick to say what they feel. And, you have a lot of people on the side who agree with them, and it's like a snowball effect. The more people, agree, the more
They're
shares.
quick to pile on, too.
Yes, pile on
They have
quickly.
gang mentality. Yes, they do.
Yep. And we're not seeing that on our side, and it's prevalent in TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And what I think we need to do is build up that social media coverage, have that snowball effect for ourselves, spread our values to not only the adults, but to teenagers as well. Because I know I've seen, political stuff that I don't align with on social media, and I would like to see more political stuff that I do align with, as well as the other TARs. So.
If I may add on to what Isaac said, I frequent social media. And there are a lot of things I would change about social media. But one thing specifically is when I don't know how much y'all are on social media, but if you go into the GIFs section and you hit the word vote, on Instagram, anyway, there's a lot of Democrat GIFs, tons. There was probably 4 Republican ones that are actually real. The rest are all making fun of GOP. So that bothers me. But one thing I would say that I know we as TARs are trying to do is to really reach out to the younger generation. Because I know that the Democrats are doing that. I don't know how much y'all follow AOC, but she was a little while ago, back when the game Among Us was popular, she was playing Among Us and was streaming like a Twitch streamer, which our generation really likes that kind of thing. So she was making it less about politics and more about, let's have fun, I'm gonna play this game that everybody's playing. So I feel like as Republicans, we could work on not only reaching out to the younger generation, but doing some things that they're interested in, which is why we're going to the aquarium and why we went bowling.
So you are planning activities
Yes, ma'am.
that would bring together some young people to make them stop and think about actual voting and the right way, etc.
Yes, ma'am.
So is this what the TARs do?
The TARs are here to support conservative candidates and to get conservative candidates reelected. Just us as Brunswick County TARs, we are really trying to get more members and reach more people. So we're trying to do that with more fun events.
Okay, great.
Maggie, we're not going to let you get away with this without answering the social media question.
You want me to go back to the social media question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I looked up, I think it was earlier this morning or something. I had some free time and I looked up something that, should be Democrats have a side on it and then Republicans do. And all I saw was the Democrat, on Instagram. And I feel like Republicans try to speak up a little bit, but Democrats do it more. So we really need to work on trying to get our message out there too.
It's a tough fight because you've got to have a really thick skin. I am on social media a lot. On the boomer ones, Facebook, I know you guys really, you look at on Instagram and that type of thing. That's how your generation is finding out news. You're not watching the TV news. At least I don't think so. I would venture to bet none of you have read a newspaper much in the last year at all. Maybe a few here and there, but and I think it's important. And of course, then there's Bill, who he goes back to the days of the horse and buggy, get his news, and the town crier.
At least I don't have to use crayons to fill in the things I've been working with.
But anyway, so, one of the things I would encourage you guys to do is expand on the social media, because I do think it's critical moving forward that that message gets out there, because as you all spoke about, it's overwhelmingly coming from one side. AOC is a perfect example of how someone went from being a bartender to Congress with absolutely no skill set to be there. Give her credit where credit's due. She knew what she was doing, but I think it's really key to move forward with that. So,
before we get to the end, there's still my favorite question for everybody. And you want to start, Vincent? The question is, tell us something about you that nobody knows.
Social media thing, and I have some takes on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd already answered. I apologize.
I couldn't really say that. I heard you deliberating, but yeah, Isaac was the one.
I was misled, I have to admit.
Yeah, Isaac started that one. No hard feelings, but I'm still kind of reeling from the revelation that a liberal Democrat has played Among Us on Twitch. But that aside, I have some hot takes on the whole use of social media, in that it should be used as a vehicle for information and nothing more, because the way that the opposition uses social media is a lot less informative and a lot more predatory. And we shouldn't have to stoop to that level. Because using social media and monopolizing on it like they do means we're just providing panacea to the masses. We're just bread and circuses, whatever your favorite term for rile up a group of people against a perceived common enemy in order to gain support for your own deeds. Regardless of if you think you're the good guys or the bad guys in that situation, trying to monopolize on mob mentality like the opposition does isn't very good. So yeah, I do think social media is important, but just as a method for conveying information over long distances to as many people as possible. And it should be noted that we should not fall to the oppositions.
Very well said. Now, back to my question.
Yes.
Which is, you're not getting away without telling me something about you that nobody knows. Who wants to start?
I came prepared.
Maybe, your question is, tell me something about your mom that nobody knows.
As she has already answered that question, I will answer the previous question.
Yes, ma'am.
One thing that not everyone knows about me, but you probably will know about me after eating one meal with me, is that I love ketchup. Ketchup makes every savory food better that I've tried, with the exception of mac and cheese, Cheetos, and lamb. Thank you.
I love it.
I just can't even respond to that. I'm just going to... Next.
Yeah, how do I top that? Well, I like sweet and sour sauce. Let's do that. Well, one thing that not a lot of people know about me is that I won my school's talent show when I was in 8th grade, and I sang Don't Stop Believing. And if you come out to one of our meetings, you might hear me sing a little rendition of that. So
I would like
We
that.
have a title for another show. We should do talent from the
yeah,
TARs.
Yes.
TARs talent.
We can go with that. Maggie?
I guess one thing that people don't know about me is that I cannot stand the taste of chocolate. I don't like chocolate.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
It's almost un-American, Mary, so
Are
you need
you
to be careful with that,
okay?
Maggie. Vincent, last and not least.
All right, I got something really mundane and something kind of important. Which one do you want to hear?
Pick them. Go for them both.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the mundane thing first.
Okay.
By virtue of, it had to be 6th, 7th, 8th grade writing assignment that I did that went on to be published, I am technically a published poet.
Wonderful.
I haven't done it since because I don't feel confident enough in my writing abilities, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, I also made Eagle Scout at 14.
Congratulations on both.
Yeah, I wanted to hit that as suddenly as possible.
Now we, at
see
the
if I
next
could
show
get a
you guys
reaction.
come, we have a singer and a poet to read things there. So this is,
Yes.
we're doing well.
Nah, I started too much for readings.
Okay.
I also write poetry.
Now we have a competition going on. Okay.
I think that's the idea for
Maggie,
next event,
you need to tell
poetry.
me what a singer you are, and this balances out. We'll be
Yeah,
fine.
for real.
All right.
Actually,
Anyway, Go ahead, Isaac. What are you going to say?
Maggie, you were in the Brunswick Bellas. Is that right?
She actually sings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a barbershop like style singing at my school, a cappella. And yeah, I'm a Brunswick Bella.
Oh, now you see
I
what we've
love
learned today is
those.
phenomenal. Now, we're going to have to start rapping today, wrapping up today, not rapping. But
I can rap if you want.
But I just want to point out to everybody that this is an example of the youth of today, and we're okay. We're doing very well. If this is a good example, and you are, I would also suggest, if you're interested in getting involved in TARs, they told you how to find them. I will also tell you that the candidates that are running are looking for people to volunteer to help them hand out things on Election Day, on early voting, on primary day. If you want to do that, see these people. They'll get you in touch with our people, and we'll get you involved, because that's what you need to be, that you're right up front and dealing with things. Anything else you guys want to say about this?
I just want to say that you guys are awesome, and to thank you so much for coming on the show to let everybody know how awesome you are.
Sir? I'm good. You're good? I'm good. First time in life he's been good, so that's good. Anyway, with that, we'll pay some bills and then we'll wrap up.
Paid for by the committee to elect Judge Michael Stadding. As a member of the United States Air Force, I stand for our nation. As a prosecutor, I took a stand against violent criminals. As an attorney for the Fraternal Order of Police, I took a stand for law and order. As a sitting conservative judge, I stand for our Constitution. And as a judge on the Court of Appeals, I will stand up for you. Vote for a battle-tested conservative. Stand with Stadding. Michael Stadding is a reservist for the United States Air Force. Use of his military rank, job titles does not imply endorsement by the Department of the Air Force or the Department of Defense.
Our founders expected judges to apply, not make, our laws. I'm Trey Allen, conservative candidate for the North Carolina Supreme Court. More than 20 years ago, I began my legal career by joining the Marine Corps and taking an oath to support and defend the United States Constitution. As a justice on our state Supreme Court, I will continue to protect the Constitution by basing my rulings on the founders' intent, not my personal views. Paid for by Trey Allen for Justice.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. TonyMag.com.
My name is Brian Wilson. I'm running for District Court Judge. During my lifetime, I've gone from protecting your God-given and constitutional freedoms as a combat vet of the U.S. military to working locally as a carpenter building homes while I worked my way through college. For the past 17 years, I've been protecting and defending your constitutional rights in the courtroom. I'm currently protecting our rights of our most vulnerable, our children, as the guardian ad litem attorney advocate for the children of Brunswick, Columbus, and Bladen County. I've spent my career serving our country, our state, and our communities, so I ask that you continue your confidence by voting for me, Brian Wilson, in the primary elections on May 17th. Thank you.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Legal decisions that affect the lives of Brunswick County citizens daily. The current clerk of court, who is an attorney, has demonstrated this for many years. Katie Maiden has practiced law for over 10 years. To ensure that this quality of service continues, vote Katie Maiden for clerk of courts. Paid for by the committee to elect Katie Maiden.
And I believe we're down to about time to say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
And we'll be back next week, Tuesday night, All Things Brunswick. Have a great one. And we have a real surprise for you next week. We have some most superior guests, even You'll never believe some of the people who they are. Anyway, tune in next week. All Things Brunswick.
Thank you.